Hi, my name is Lisa Kane. I am a school counselor, a teacher, and a mother. I'm also a candidate for Glenbrook District 225 School Board. If you haven't had a chance yet to come to one of my meet and greets and hear about me, I hope you'll take a couple minutes, listen to my platform, and see if I'm the right fit for you, for your family, and most importantly, for the Glenbrooks. First, here is a picture of my family. That's my husband, Larry Kane, my oldest son, Ethan, who is a junior at Glenbrook South in 225, and my younger son, Leo, who is a seventh grader at Atia Middle School in District 34. This is the only photo you'll see in my campaign materials because it's the only one that my teenagers have approved. A little bit about me. I am originally from New Jersey. That means that I will always like New York style pizza more than Chicago deep dish, and I hope that doesn't lose me your votes. I am the daughter of a social worker and a reading specialist. Education and mental health have always been big within my family, and so I think it makes total sense that I have become both a counselor and a teacher. I've also always been interested in education, so all of my roles and experiences and part-time jobs growing up were always around being a tutor, being an SAT prep teacher, being a religious school teacher, anything that would involve working with students and trying to help them. Which brings me to the first of my core identities. So I am a counselor, a teacher, and a mom. I will start with a teacher because that is the one that came first for me. I earned my bachelor's degree in English and my master's degree in English education from Rutgers University, which is the State University of New Jersey. I'm really proud that as part of my master's degree program, I earned the New Jersey Commissioner Distinguished Teacher Candidate Award. This is an award given to the top 15 student teachers in the entire state of New Jersey. I also was one of 14 students who graduated my year from Rutgers College with a perfect 4.0, which I'm also very proud of. After I finished my education at Rutgers, I moved to Connecticut, to Norwich, where I taught English at Norwich Free Academy for 2 years. After finishing my time at Norwich Free Academy, my then boyfriend, now husband, and the love of my life, Larry Kane, said that it would be a good idea to move to Illinois. Larry is from Hersey High School. He grew up in Mount Prospect. And so we made the move from Connecticut to Illinois. When we got to Illinois, I thought about trying something where maybe my nights and weekends would not all be about lesson planning and grading. And I decided to leave teaching and try working with adults. I worked at Advocate Illinois Masonic Medical Center, where I coordinated professional development programs for nurses. It was some education, also a lot of administrative work. And I realized during my time there that I didn't love it, that my heart will always be being in the classroom. And so I decided to leave that job and go back into education, but this time as a school counselor. And that brings me to my second core identity, which is being a counselor. I went to Northeastern Illinois University and I earned my master's of school counseling. This program should have taken me 2 years, but I had 2 children along the way, so it took me 7 years. I'm really grateful that I had a chance to stay home full time with my sons for a couple of their years growing up. As part of my master's program, I did my internship as a school counselor at Notre Dame College Prep. And then 11 years ago, I went back to work full-time at CICS Northtown Academy, which is a charter school on the north side of Chicago. There weren't any counseling jobs when I was applying, so I began my career there as an English teacher. And then 9 years ago, I transitioned into my role as a school counselor. So I've been at my school now for 11 years, first as an English teacher and then as a counselor. And that brings me to my last core identity, definitely my favorite one and my most important one, which is being a mother. I am a parent of Ethan, who is over at Glenbrook South, and Leo, who is a middle schooler at Atia. I am a scout mom. I always get really involved in all the things that my kids do, whether that is Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, fencing and musical theater and choir. I go to all their activities. I volunteer at their activities. I am also a cat mom. I have 4 rescue cats. I would love to get more, but my husband Larry said 4 is enough, at least for now. So why did I decide to run for school board? For me, this began with the Glenbrook South yearbook that was published last May in 2024. When the yearbook came out, there was a student who was misquoted in saying that when she woke up on October 7th, when Israel was attacked, that she woke up and was happy about what happened. Now, We know now that that student was entirely misquoted. The student was not talking about October 7th. The student did not see the page, the photo, or the caption that would be there. The family did not know what was happening with that student. In fact, the student didn't know anything about what would happen with the yearbook and the whole controversy that would happen until the yearbook was published and people started talking to her about it. And then that student faced incredible amounts of bullying, both in person and online. I was incredibly frustrated with how the school handled that situation. At first, when the school was responding, they were kind of nonchalant about it, saying, "Thank you so much for expressing your feedback about the yearbook. We've passed it along to the yearbook staff." Ultimately, they did have some community meetings as part of board meetings to talk about what was happening. I found that the communication during this time was lacking, that it wasn't clear what was going on, and that the movement was also slow within the investigation. And it caused a lot of harm within our community, harm within the Jewish community, within the Muslim community, and within our larger District 225 community. Because of the yearbook experience, I began attending and regularly speaking out at District 225 board meetings. In particular, I was paying attention to communication and the lack of transparency and the reactive quality a lot of their communication explored. But that wasn't the end for me. I started really looking at who was on our school board and what the school board does. And what I noticed was, although we have a range of experiences represented by our current school board members, we don't have any high school educators on the school board. And except for me, there are no high school educators who are running for school board. And I truly believe it's important to have someone who understands high schools, who works in a high school, and has experience in high schools when we're talking about being in school board. School boards, after all, are responsible for approving school policy, for approving curriculum, for doing hiring. And while it's important to have a range of experiences, one of them should definitely be somebody who works in schools every day and is familiar with exactly what it's like to be a teacher, to work with students. And that's what really got me excited about running for school board. So here come my qualifications. I am an educator through and through. I have 13 years experience as a high school educator, 4 years as a high school English teacher, and 9 years as a school counselor. I have additional experiences working both as a religious school teacher, an SAT prep teacher for a Kaplan, and also coordinating those education programs for adults. In my role as a school counselor, part of my job has to do with developing policies, both writing policies, reviewing policies, and advocating for change when our policies are not working. Those policy committees that I worked on include the attendance policy, in particular thinking about what to do when there are chronic tardies and chronic absences. I work on the grading policy, so helping to set the tone and help to set the scale for what does it look like when you have AP, academic, honors level courses, and how many points should go with all those different classes. I work on the bell scheduling committee, so thinking about what our school calendar looks like and what the times and the periods of our day are. And the discipline and code of conduct committee, so when students have disciplinary infractions, what should the appropriate consequences be? I'm also on the restorative justice committee, which means when students have those consequences, how do we also work to repair the harm, and how does the student then re-enter the school building and re-enter our school community? In addition to all the policy work that I do, I also serve on multiple leadership teams. I'm on the culture and climate team, in which we talk about attendance and discipline data. I'm on the threat assessment team, which will gather together anytime we have concerns about dangerous situations within the school. I'm on our behavioral health team, which is a combination of our counselors and social workers, school psychologists, special education teachers, and thinking about the mental health needs of our students. I serve on the post-secondary team, where we talk about all of our college and career programming for our students, military and trade, universities and two-year colleges and trade programs, and all the different ways we want to make sure that students in grades 9 through 12 are aware of their options for after high school. I'm also on our sanctuary schools team, looking to make sure that we can keep our students and families safe, particularly if ICE should enter our building. I am a club advisor for Unafraid Dreamers, which supports students and families on the immigration spectrum. And I've been a club advisor for Writers Inc., which is a literary arts magazine. So lots of experiences, all within the education world. And I hope to be able to bring all of that expertise to District 225. Outside of my work experience, I also have a lot of experience within our community working with children and working with students. Specifically, I've been really involved in all the activities that my children do. So my children were in Cub Scout Pack 59. My husband, Larry Kane, was the Cub Master for Pack 59. And when he was the Cub Master, I was the person behind the scenes helping to coordinate events, helping to come up with flyers, working on logistics, also coming up with activities and making sure that they were things that the children would enjoy. He was a den leader, and I was also a volunteer den leader within our pack. Then when my children crossed over from Pack 59 to Boy Scout Troop 156, and when my husband took on that role of Scoutmaster for 156, I crossed over with them as well and became a volunteer leader there. At the troop level, that's looked like, again, looking at logistics, thinking about ways to get our students and our scouts involved, also using my expertise within the high school setting to think about how do we make sure that our scouts are coming in uniform? What do we do if they want to be on their phones? How do we make sure that they are getting engaged and really kind of balancing all of their different activities? I also am a merit badge counselor within Boy Scout Troop 156. I am the counselor for reading, scholarship, family life, and pets. That means that scouts can come and work with me if they want to develop expertise in any of those different topics. At the high school, I have been involved with the Glenbrook fencing team. The Glenbrook fencing team is a combined GBS, GBN club sport. And so when we host the major tournament at the end of the season at the high school, I've been part of the fundraising team and helping to run that event. In addition, at Atia Middle School, I have been one of the volunteers with the school musical with SpongeBob last year and Beetlejuice this year. I'm the backstage parent who has to tell all of our kids, shh, stop talking, to make sure that the show goes on, the show goes well. I've also, outside of the activities of my children, been a union activist. So I am a card-carrying member of the union, and I'm an activist within the union. During our last 2 contract negotiations, I've served as the non-teacher educator on our contract committee, making sure that our contract has strong language to support our students. So when several years ago, our administration was looking to cut counselors and social workers and potentially have 800 students to only 1 counselor, I was right out there fighting for strong language on the picket lines with our team, making sure that we could get services for our students and that they had the schools that they deserve. So here are the things that I would like to be able to bring and continue to work on within District 225. First, I want to work on improving communication and community participation. That's going to begin by having really clear and transparent communication in all the different ways that our families access information so that everybody has all the information they need at their fingertips. Having that clear communication, I think, will really help to rebuild the trust within our community and also invite parents to be part of the conversation. We want you to be part of the community and to feel that your voices are important because they are. I also want to make sure that we are increasing participation in the 5 E's, the 5 Essential Survey. It is one of the many factors that goes into our Illinois State Board of Education school report card. And finally, I want to make sure that we're increasing community engagement at parent association meetings, at board meetings, that again, parents know when these things are and that they feel like they are invited and welcomed and excited to attend and have their voices heard. The second part of my platform has to do with our students and making sure that our schools are safe and inclusive spaces where all students feel like they belong. After the Glenbrook South Yearbook controversy, there was supposed to be training and special programming happening for students, and that has not rolled out yet. So I want to make sure that we have upstander, bystander training for all students. It's important for our students to know when they see discrimination, when they see harassment, how to recognize it when they see it, and then how to stand up for themselves and for their classmates to keep our schools safe. I also make sure that all of our staff has additional training in anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and anti-harassment. I want to make sure that our students participate in multiple belonging surveys to make sure that they are not facing any kind of discrimination or harassment within our schools, and to make sure that they feel that they belong, that they have clubs and activities and things that they are excited to go to. I want to make sure that we look at our calendar to make sure that our calendar is equitable to all of the many diverse communities within our schools, and that is being respectful of the various religious holidays that our students and families enjoy. And finally, I want to make sure that we're increasing student engagement. We've noticed after the pandemic that fewer students are participating in Spirit Week. We've had dances that have been canceled. We've noticed drops in attendance and in spectatorship at our games and activities. And we want to really make sure that our students feel proud to be Titans and proud to be Spartans, and that they are truly engaging in what it means to be a Glenbrook student. The third part of my platform is funding our programs equitably to benefit all students. We have an incredible student services team within the Glenbrooks, but I noticed that we have only 3 college and career counselors to serve 5,000 students. So while we have many generalist counselors, it's only 3 college and career counselors. And I would like to see increased funding so that we can increase the number of college and career counselors within the Glenbrooks. I also would like to see us offering SAT and ACT prep classes as electives and as summer school classes. We currently offer a test prep class after school for a fee, but I would like to see this as an elective that's built into the class schedule so that those students who perhaps don't have the money to pay that fee can get access to that class during their school day. It's important as I'm thinking about the budget that the budget is transparent, it's clear that we can see it, and that we're really prioritizing education over aesthetics. I love that our schools are so beautiful, but I'm actually more interested in making sure that we have all of the education and all the programs we need, especially in terms of our college and career. Finally, I want to make sure that we're providing quality education to our students in the 4As, in our academics, our athletics, our activities, and our arts. We have a wealth of electives and an incredible number of clubs and sports and activities for our students to get involved in. So I want to continue making sure that we have all of those amazing and innovative programs. And I want to make sure that all of our students can access those programs. According to our last state report card, we saw that our diverse learners and our English language learners had lower scores in terms of their academics. And I want to make sure that all of our education is accessible to all of our students. Finally, this will help to regain our exemplary status on our Illinois state report card. So that is all about me and the things that I'm hoping to bring to the Glenbrooks. Now, I just want to mention briefly for you about voting. It is super important to make sure that you go out and vote. Early voting is from March 17th to March 31st. Early voting takes place at either the Northbrook Village Hall or the Glenview Village Hall, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Spring break is coming. It's easy to forget about the election, so taking care of your early voting starting March 17th would be a great way to make sure you get your vote in. You can also do voting by mail. March 27th is the last day to request your mail-in ballot, and it has to be postmarked by April 1st. And then finally, Tuesday, April 1st is Election Day. Election Day voting happens at your specific polling place, and the polls are open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. In our last school board election of the 65,000 registered Glenview and Northbrook voters, only 7,500 residents actually voted. And we want to make sure that we get everybody out to vote because our schools are important and they deserve to have everybody's voice and everybody's input. If my message resonates with you, if you believe like I do that school boards need educators and that I am the candidate for you, then I invite you to be part of my campaign. You can do that by sharing, posting, texting, emailing, or just talking with your friends and neighbors about me. You can share my flyer. You can share my website. It's lisakane.d225.org where my full platform is listed. You can also host a meet and greet. I'd be happy to come out and talk with your friends and neighbors about my experiences and also hear about the things that are important to you. I have yard signs available. You can sign up if you want to be at early voting or on election day, handing out my flyer, making sure that we get that vote out. But again, most importantly, do make sure that you vote and make your voice heard. And if you believe like I do that school boards need educators, then please vote for Lisa Kane. Happy voting. I hope to see you at the polls.